You're having trouble because you're getting too formless and disconnected from the physical. Well, don't be a slob. Get your act together. I mean, you and I, see, the game is, here's what we did. We started out by wanting to get high. See, you know how to get high? I know how to get, I got some stuff. Ooh, does it get you high? And I used to have audiences that were made up of these like 15 to 22-year-old people, and they were all people who I knew because we all got high. And then there'd be this woman about 75 in the audience wearing a hat with plums and bananas on it. I think, what is she doing in this audience? I mean, it's like a Charles Adams cartoon, one of these people. And she'd come up afterwards and I'd say, did you understand? Oh, it was wonderful. I think it's great. Hello. And she'd be right there. And I'd say, how did you get so high? And she'd say, I knit. And it would blow all my models. I mean, these are all acid heads. What are you doing here, madam? Well, I knit, you know. And now I see that the whole, that how we all get high is all by all different means. Everybody's got their own route, and there's no better way or a different way. We just all have figured out, or you wouldn't be in this room at this moment. You've all figured out that you aren't who you thought you were, so to a little degree, okay? Now, so we all want to get high, and because we've been stuck so long in being who my parents thought they were somebody, so they told me who I was in relation to who they thought they were. So I grew up being somebody, and it was heavy. I mean, I was neurotic and achieving, and I had skin dermatitis and diarrhea when I was taking my doctoral exams, and I mean, I was a real good neurotic, a good American neurotic. And so when I finally break out, it's like breaking out of the smog into the blue sky. And who wants to come down? You want to get high, see? Where I can look and we're all one and we're all beautiful and we're all in love, and suddenly we come down and I'm paranoid and I don't trust you and you can hurt me and stay away and it's mine and I'm going to lock it, you know, right? And I don't want to be in that world. I want to be, I want to be out in La La Land, you see? So I get high and I learn how to get high, and we all learn and we all are high. You high, I'm high, ha ha ha. But the thing is that you can't quite drop out. Larry used to say, turn on, tune in, and drop out, but where are you going to go to? You happen to be in a human incarnation. You can go out to a spaceship, but you'll be just as neurotic out there as you were here, you know. You realize there's nowhere to go, and you finally realize that you have to honor your incarnation. That God is in form as well as formless. And where were you rushing to push away the form? Alan Watts and I were once sitting somewhat drunkenly in a Benedictine monastery late at night in his bedroom. He had snuck a bottle in, and we were having a wee drop together, and he said, Dick, your problem. It's great. That's a good opening line. It really catches your attention. Your problem is you're too attached to emptiness. And he was right. I was too attached to getting high, to going back into the one. And then I began to see that as long as I was pushing away anything, it had me. As long as I was putting something under the rug, I was standing on tiptoe, as the Tao says. And I became fascinated with why I came down. After all, my natural state is pure awareness. What am I coming down? What am I getting caught for? And I started to see the ways in which, quote, I was coming down as beautiful expressions of they were like fingerprints of my own karmic predicament, my own attachments. And I started to be fascinated with the things that brought me down. Because I really wanted to get free. I didn't want to just get high. Because high has in it low, and it's like another polarity. It's a yo-yo. You go up and come down, and I got tired of being a yo-yo. I did that for like 10 years. I still do it a little bit. But now I realize that the down is as much high. That's what I said. You're bored, hot, sweaty, great. This is the stuff too. Which package did you think it would come in? At first, you want to surround yourself, as Ramakrishna says, with a little fence because you feel like you're a little delicate tree, and if anybody blows too hard, you'll fall over. Somebody says, you know all that spiritual crap is no good. Get back to reality. And your little tree goes, ooh, you were right, you were right, you were right, you were right. You know? And then you get strong and somebody says that to you and you say, yes, I hear that, but I've got to do what I've got to do. And, I'm just think of me as psychotic. It's all right. I'll just do what I have to do. Okay? And then you're in a different space because then you don't feel so vulnerable. And then you start to look for the things that are going to catch you. That's a far out stage. Like somebody comes to me and they say, you live in the mountains of New Mexico. I'd like to study with you. And I said, well, I don't know about, I don't have students and stuff. You want to study with me? Yes, I hate New York, but I really love New Mexico. All right, here's your first assignment. What? Go live in New York. Because if there's anything you're pushing and pulling, that's a message of where your stash is, where you're holding on. Until you can choose to live in a beautiful place like Melbourne, but if you find yourself in Los Angeles, so. You create as much beauty and happiness and pleasure and everything as you can in the world for as many beings as you can, but then the way it is the way it is. And so finally you start to become fascinated with what brings you down, and you realize finally that you must honor your incarnation, that you took birth in order to join a school. And this is the curriculum down here. All right? And as I have a friend, Emmanuel, who doesn't have a body. He speaks through a woman named Pat Rodegeist. And he says to me, Ramdas, you keep insisting on avoiding your curriculum. Why don't you accept the fact you're a human being? Get it together down here, too. And I've been hearing that. I've been hearing Alan Watts and Emmanuel and all kinds of beings. And so I realize I have to deal with my passions, my anger, my desires, my loneliness, my self-pity. I've got to remember my address. I've got to get a job. I've got to keep my act together, keep my clothes clean, brush my teeth, use dental floss. I got to do it all. I got to pay my taxes, change the oil in my car, And that's all part of the process until finally all of it becomes grist for the mill. All of it is the stuff you're using to get free. Because if you think you're the person flossing your teeth, you just lost it again. But if you don't floss your teeth, you lost it too. Okay? And most of the people need to get grounded. You need to get grounded. You just got to get your act together.